I never sat in the Oval Office, but imagine, just for a moment, the nation we might have built if I had.
What if one of America's most brilliant and controversial founding fathers had actually become president? Alexander Hamilton, the immigrant, the visionary, the genius behind the American financial system. Yet he never rose to the presidency. But what if he had? What would America look like if Hamilton had sat in the Oval Office? This is a deep dive into the alternate world where Hamilton, not Jefferson or Adams, shaped early America. Caribbean, orphaned young, and rising to power through intellect and audacity. Alexander Hamilton was a force of nature. He fought in the Revolutionary War, served as George Washington's right hand, and became the first Secretary of the Treasury. He laid the groundwork for America's economic future, established a national bank, and strongly believed in a powerful central government. But his path to the presidency was blocked by scandal, political enemies like Jefferson, and ultimately by Aaron Burr's bullet in 1804.
This is what the great America could have looked like with me. Now it's for you to decide if this could have been better for the evolution of humanity.
Now imagine this. Hamilton survives the duel with Burr. Let's say he avoids major scandal and wins enough support to run for president in 1808 after Jefferson's 2 terms. In this alternate timeline, Hamilton defeats James Madison and becomes the 4th president of the United States. What changes? Everything, from economics and federal power to America's role on the global stage.
Early factories, American cities growing, financial buildings, and many more could have been possible with me as president. Let me show you.
Hamilton wanted America to skip the farming phase and to go straight to factories and finance. So that might have meant highways in the early 1800s and bureaucrats instead of cowboys. So America as this big startup with no exit plans.
As president, Hamilton would double down on his vision: a strong national bank, federal subsidies for industry, heavy investment in manufacturing, high tariffs to protect American goods. America would pivot away from Jefferson's rural agrarian dream and toward rapid industrialization. Possibly decades earlier than in our timeline, cities like Philadelphia and New York could become economic giants by the 1820s, not the 1850s. The US might become a global financial hub, rivaling Britain far sooner.
I always believed in a strong federal government to limit the chaos of state autonomy and create a greater country.
Imagine America being run like a startup, like a tech company with Hamilton as the CEO in charge of this fancy new company called United States of America. So that means no Wild Wild West, that means no civil war. Instead, a sleek, highly efficient, centralized government with a bank and a standing army and so on. That would also mean less we the people and more we the shareholders.
Hamilton believed in a strong federal government, not a loose confederation of states. As president, he likely would have pushed for greater federal control over laws and commerce, limits on state autonomy, a larger permanent army and navy. This could have prevented early secessionist movements, perhaps even delaying or altering the Civil War. But it also would have sparked resistance. Jeffersonians feared tyranny, and Hamilton's vision might have looked like monarchy to them.
I was always against slavery. I wanted humanity to be a part of my life and a part of how I would have contoured America.
Hamilton wasn't woke. He was just built differently. He saw slavery as backwards economics. He wanted a central state, a powerful state, and he might have started some sort of a cold war with plantation power, not through protest, but through policy. Not south versus the north, but up versus down, the future versus the past.
Where would Hamilton stand on slavery? He personally opposed it, but he also compromised politically when necessary. As president, he might not have abolished slavery, but he could have restricted its expansion westward, offered economic incentives to phase it out, strengthened northern states against the slave-holding South. This might set America on a path toward gradual abolition, potentially avoiding the bloodshed of the Civil War, or igniting it sooner.
I was always an admirer of the British system, and for sure breaking the line of Jefferson with the French.
Hamilton admired the British system, its financial institutions, trade power, and monarchy. As president, he might have forged a closer alliance with Britain, breaking sharply from Jefferson's Francophile stance. This would tilt America toward early globalization, prioritizing trade, military expansion, and international finance. Could we have seen an American empire by mid-1800s? Perhaps. Hamilton believed in national greatness, economically and militarily. So what if Hamilton had become president? We might see a wealthier, more industrialized America by 1850. A stronger federal government from the start. Earlier tensions over slavery, but maybe a faster resolution. A US more globally connected, with a financial edge decades ahead. But also, fierce political backlash, fewer state rights, and the president who may have bent the rules for the sake of a vision. Alexander Hamilton never became president. But in an alternate world, he may have shaped the 19th century into a very different America. One far more centralized, urban, and powerful. What do you think? Would Hamilton have saved the Union, or broken it apart faster?
If you enjoyed this alternate history, hit like, subscribe, and let us know which what if you want next.
Now go and check our app. It's called Paladin. You learn fascinating stories about history and facts that will make your brain explode.